Good morning, Nystrom, and happy Tuesday to you. I hope you're having a great week back and getting back in the groove of school. If you remember back before our week off, we were talking about different African American leaders throughout our country's history in honor of Black History Month, as February is. Today I wanted to introduce you to somebody named John Lewis. John Lewis was for a long time a congressperson who served our nation, and if you go all the way back, he marched with Martin Luther King in the 1950s and 60s, so he lived a really extraordinary life. Not too long ago, before he died, he said, quote, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble, to help redeem the soul of America." And so, why would your principal be encouraging you to get in good trouble? And what do you think that quote means? Because I do agree with John Lewis. Sometimes it's okay to get in good trouble. The funny thing is, if you're at school, when you get in trouble, you're normally coming to see the principal. So what does that quote mean? Well, for me, getting in good trouble means speaking up when you see injustice or something that is unfair. And for me, what John Lewis is saying is speak up when you see something that is wrong or unfair, even if it gets you in some trouble. In those cases, that is good trouble. So, let's take a moment and learn more about John Lewis.
Little Legends, Exceptional Men in Black History by Vashti Harrison. Today's legend, John Lewis, 1940 to 2020, activist and member of Congress. People always knew John was meant to be a leader. When he was young, he dreamed of being a minister. Dressed in a shirt and tie, he preached to the chickens on his farm. Even at home, though, he was aware of the discrimination in segregated Alabama. Nicer schools, libraries, and buses were reserved for white people. John thought this was unfair. His parents told him to leave it alone, but he wanted to make things better. At around the age of 15, John heard Dr. Martin Luther King on the radio describing how nonviolent protests such as marches and boycotts were helping to end segregation. John was inspired and attended his first march. In college, he wrote to Dr. King, asking for advice on how to do more. Amazingly, Dr. King wrote him back, met with him, and soon became a friend and mentor. John organized sit-ins and participated in the Freedom Rides, where young black and white activists would sit together in segregated diners and buses. By the age of 23, John was one of the Big Six civil rights leaders who worked with Dr. King and one another to organize the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In 1965, John and 600 others planned to march from Selma to Montgomery in Alabama. When they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, state troopers were waiting for them. The troopers attacked the protesters, injuring many, including John, whose skull was fractured. The images of the march, of peaceful protesters being beaten, made it onto the national news. Americans were horrified, and this led to a wave of support for civil rights. Over the years, John has received many honors for fighting for the rights of his fellow Americans, and he's still using nonviolence. He has held a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, serving Atlanta's 5th District since 1987. In 2016, he led a sit-in at the U.S. Capitol to push for gun control laws. As a boy, John wanted to change the world, and as a man, he keeps on changing it.
Inspired by the Perseverance landing last week, our riddle on Monday was themed around space. What did Mars say to Saturn? And a number of you nailed this one. Give me a ring. Ring? No, like Saturn has a ring around it. So Miss Sims, Miss Ibilola, Mr. Z, Miss B, Miss Fairweather, Miss Pierce, Mr. LaFleur, and Miss Schultz, all nice work there. Now, looking at today's riddle, you see me in water, but I never get wet. What am I? You see me in water, but I never get wet. What am I? We will share that answer on Wednesday. That is it for today. Remember those 4 B's. Be responsible, be respectful, be safe, and be honest. Have a great day or not. The choice is yours.